Hello and welcome to Asaka Online. My name is Leslie Moy. The name of the program is Fix My City. In this program, we focus on service delivery issues affecting the city of Bulawayo and the Matabeleland region as a whole. In today's edition of the program, we are focusing on a very interesting issue in the city of Bulawayo. If you are a resident of Bulawayo, I'm sure you have been talking about this particular issue. We are talking about the parking management system that the Bulawayo City Council has introduced. It was officially rolled out on the 18th of February 2022, and residents have had a lot to say about it. So we have invited into the program Mr. Vusisizwe Sibanda, who is the project manager of the parking management system, to tell us more about this particular program that the local authority has introduced. Welcome to the program, Mr. Sibanda.
Thank you, Leslie.
Maybe before we even get to the parking management system that the City Council is rolling out, maybe let's talk about the parking management system in general in the city of Bulawayo and why there was need to maybe introduce a new management system. Maybe you can tell us about the old system that was there, maybe the successes and failures that you encountered.
Thank you. To you, our citizens, I would like to welcome you also to the project, to the program. What I can say is that Bulawayo City has, over the years, had a parking management system that was there. If you are old enough, you would remember that we used to have the parking machines on the street where people would put the coins, and those were very efficient during the days. But as we moved on with life and with changes in the economy, it became not very viable for people to get coins and put them on the slots machines. So people have had to come and buy some booklets, and sometimes they've had to buy the quarterly parking disc, and also they've had to pay on the street. But it meant that all these, somebody had to have cash with them always. So as we went through the years, we found that it was becoming very difficult. You want to do parking, you are passing through the city, and you have to come and buy the leaflets. So these are some of the challenges that were faced in the past. And some of the challenges that came were also to say, if somebody is passing through the city and just stopping for 15 minutes, really, do they have to go through all those challenges of getting a parking disc? So this led us to think of a more efficient way in which we can roll out parking within the city, and also making sure that there is convenience for the residents.
And the new system which you are rolling out in partnership with Tended Tree, the company, the private company, I think there has been a lot of talk about this particular partnership. Maybe in brief, just tell us more about this particular partnership and what the city entails to do with this particular project that you're rolling out.
Okay. What I can say is that we began by calling for expression of interest from anyone who thought they could come and partner the city. And then from there, we then went on to award and even have Attendee 3 coming into the limelight. I'm just saying this for the background so that people may know how we started. And this partnership is a partnership for 6 years. It's a build, operate, and transfer. So we're hoping to see Attendee 3 for 6 years in partnership with the city, which can be extended up to 10 years. So the partnership is such that they will come and give us the technology that is there out there. And when they've given us the technology and they recoup their investment, then the city can remain running the system alone. So it's a build, operate, and transfer kind of a partnership. And This partnership has got some functions that 10D3 is going to do, has got some functions that council will still have to do in the partnership, and the bulk of the work will be done by 10D3 within these years of partnership.
I'm not sure, maybe in terms of the value of the investment, if you are privy to the figures, maybe you'd want to share with the viewers.
Okay, in terms of the figures, 10D3 is coming in with an investment of 2.2 million United States dollars. So that's what they are going to put into the project, and this amount it has got some capex on it. There are tags that have been put on the streets. There are terminals that the marshals will use. There are printers that they will use on the street. There are cameras that are going to be put on the streets also. So we've got a lot of equipment that they are coming with, and also the application itself that's going to run the parking management system.
And earlier on you said that 10D3 is the one that is sort of like running the whole project. But so does it mean in terms of recruitment of the marshals and everything else, they're the ones who are doing it? And what is the role of the city council then?
Okay. 10D3 is the one that is employing most of the people on the ground. They are doing the parking, and council is coming in on the enforcement of the bylaws, because there are bylaws that are going to be at play. We are looking at some parkings that won't happen within the parking area where really 10D3 is. So council will still be there to enforce those bylaws. But at the same time, you ask, at 10D3, how did they do their recruitment? I think they advertised and they put on the newspaper, and people applied, and they took it up from there.
Okay, so maybe let's talk more about this management system. How is it going to be rolled out? I think from the press statement that the city council sent out, they gave us the fee structure and some of the things that are going to be done in the first few phases of the project. Maybe tell us more about these phases. What is going to be done, when, and when do you expect maybe to actually finish the whole setup of the project?
Thank you. We have 7 phases that are there, and of the 7 phases that are there, we've got phase 1, which is mainly looking at the prime parking areas within the city, and phase 1 has got about 1,000 parking bays, and when we have finished on the last phase, we are looking at 7,200 bays that will be there within the city. So phase 1, if everything goes according to plan, we will have covered all the parking bays by the 18th of March. So we're giving ourselves 1 month to cover that, and then we'll then move on to phase 2. We're expecting that each phase should not take more than 2 months to complete. So by that, we're saying probably come October, November, we should be done with all the 7 phases. And if we can do more phases within a shorter period, we are going to do those phases. But at the same time, when it comes to enforcement, not on the parking side, but on the enforcement side, we are going to do enforcement on the project area, the whole of it, even where we have not yet done the parking side of things.
Okay, in terms of the zones, maybe you can explain, so that at least for the benefit of those who, maybe our motorists, so that they know how the zones are demarcated. So earlier on you mentioned that there are certain within the CBD the prime zones and the other ones. Maybe if you are if you are aware of the maybe using street names, and so maybe explain to us how you demarcated the areas.
Okay, these zones are not really a cast in stone. We look at the demand areas. Where the demand is high, then that becomes your prime zone. So you discover that some zones we cannot say this street is this zone, this street is this zone. You may find part of the street is at a different zone, and the other part of the city is at a different zone. But the place where we've started with, it has always been a prime zone, which is between Leopold Takawira and 8th Avenue. Most of those streets are prime zone streets. So you discover that most of them will be 30 minutes. But as you go out of the core CBD, it will gradually become $1 for the rest of the city.
So will there be
$1 for an hour?
Yes. So will there be a signs to show that this is in this particular bay you pay $1 for a 30-minute slot, or in this particular bay you pay $1 for an hour slot, or maybe there will be people who will be assisting the motorists as they...
The marshals are going to assist the motorists, but at the same time, most of those signs were already there. The 30 minutes parking signs were already there over the city, and the 1 hour ones. So we're going to put more of them just for you as you enter, so that you really see that you're in the 30-minute zone or you're in the 1 hour zone. And also the marshals are going to indicate that to you as you get there and park your vehicle.
And maybe let's come to the most controversial issue, is the issue of the prices. How did the maybe council arrive at these charges? Because a lot of people, especially in Bulawayo, have been complaining that the fees are a bit steep. So was there maybe consultation done with the residents or with other stakeholders in terms of arriving at the fee structure?
Okay, the fees have always been there. We have just not been enforcing them. So now we're enforcing, and people are saying that they are very high, but we've always charged that. It's only that now we're enforcing them, number one. Number two, we really did have a consultation that we did with the different communities of the city. We had a stakeholder meeting where we called all the interested parties to come last year in September. It should have been September 18, if I'm not mistaken. And we had a big indaba at the large city hall, where all people were airing their views. What I can simply say is that one of the reasons why I think people are crying is that they look at $1 and then they think that parking is $1. They have to pay US dollars. Yeah, I think people also need to take note that it's equivalent at bank rate. So your real parking is $1.20 RTGS at the moment. As we move with the index, then it will move. So most people would be thinking, I have to go and buy $1 in the black market, then it's 200 and something, then it's expensive. But that's the price. It's also meant to say that you park, you go into the shop, you get out of the shop, you leave the parking for the next customer. We are not really looking at you parking the whole day in front of a 30-minute parking bay. So most people are crying. Their cry is to say, can I park on one bay for a full day, for a full month? So it means in essence they would want to have a reserved bay for them. So that's the challenge that is there. But the parking is meant for the customers that come into a shop and move out, so that the next customer can park.
All right, but I think the other concern was if I park in front of I want to go into a supermarket. So I park, I go into a supermarket, I buy my things, I move out. Now I want to go to a hardware shop, which is maybe 2 streets away. So when I get there, do I have to pay again, or I can still? So I think that's what people were also concerned about. To say if I'm moving places, other than when you park your car, you can walk into a supermarket, then you take a walk to the hardware shop, you go to whatever, then you come later, you pick up your car, you go home. So as I move around in this new system, will I be paying at every parking bay that I use?
Yes, you will have to pay. Remember, you've paid for 30 minutes on a particular bay. So when you move to another zone, it's another bay, which was not even reserved for you to say you have already your 30 minutes. So you will have to pay as you move from one parking bay to the other parking bay. It's for management purposes also, to manage the marshals, to manage the system, because someone can say, I had people moving from one bay to my bay, that's why I didn't collect. So in essence, you'll have to pay for all the parking places that we have parked it. But as we move on with the system, we're going to introduce some prepaid cards. With the prepaid cards, we will be able to pay just for the minutes that we have spent on a parking bay. So that would mean that if you spend 10 minutes on a 30-minute parking bay, you would still just pay for your 10 minutes. But this will be at a later stage.
But now, is the system, is it a manual system, or there is some application that the marshals will be using to log in with the cars as they come in, as they go out? So what kind of a system are you going to be using?
The system has got sensors. Once you park at a parking bay, already the sensor starts ticking that you have parked. So the marshal, when the marshal comes, theirs is to log in the car that is parked. But already the sensor will have started ticking that there's a car which is parked on a parking bay. And that sensor speaks also to their terminal. The terminal will be indicating where the cars are, where they are parked cars. So at any given time, the marshal will know his cars that are parked within his area. And also from the office side of things, because it's all online, we'll be able to tell which parking bays are occupied at what time. So it's automated, and we are going even to change in the 3rd year and automate it even better than that.
So then, in terms of those who would at some point maybe break the city bylaws, I come in, I go without paying somehow. I try to cheat the system. What happens to such particular people?
Okay, when you come and pay and park, and you go away without paying, the next time when you come, it will indicate on the marshal that this person did not pay the last time. they parked, you would have an opportunity to pay. If you don't, then they will clamp the car, and after about 3 hours, your car will need to be towed, or at the end of the day, if you have not paid for it. And when it's towed and put on the impound yard, and at the impound yard there, you now have to pay for the impounding on daily basis. So I would really urge people that they pay every time they park their vehicles. If you fail to pay for a reason, it will indicate on the system this person tried to pay, but the EcoCash system was down, their bank was down, so that you are not penalized for things that were beyond you in paying for the time you spent on the pay.
And then in terms of payment options, what payment platforms can people use to pay for their parking?
All the non-payment platforms. We've got EcoCash, you've got a Swipe, you've got your cash, and in all currencies, not denominations, all currencies.
Okay. And then what I think in the side of council, what benefits or do you envision with this particular system, and how do you think it will help the local authority in terms of managing movement within the city?
Okay. First of all, you'll appreciate that within our city, it was now becoming very difficult to park because of the congestion. So as a local authority, one of the benefits that it will bring is that it will decongest the central business area, and also it will enable us to help the citizens to have a secure parking for the residents, because now we've got somebody who is looking after your car and looking at if there are thieves or anyone trying to break onto your car. So it will help with that. But also, as we do this, the city is going to become smarter, because now people were spending the full day parked on the street. So it meant that the debt that was accumulating was so much, because they now have to eat this and that. They throw down the papers and the like. But now parking is really for the convenience of you shopping and going out. So we expect all that to go down. Also, there were people who were now having businesses on the street, right? One of the benefits of the system is that these people now will have to go and occupy some places for them to do businesses, and don't do businesses on the street. I won't say some of them. we all know some that were occupying some spaces permanent. Those people will now need to look for proper offices, and when they look for proper offices, they should have a business license. They should be licensed. So that then becomes a benefit for the city and also for the government, because we know who's who and operating from where.
All right. And then I think the other concern that people had was on what the council is going to get, because a lot of people are saying, but if people shy away from coming into town with their cars, or they leave them in the periphery of the city, they walk, maybe the city council will end up not making that much money that they're even making. So I don't know whether they were justified in that kind of thinking.
Okay. The benefits that we were looking at as a council goes beyond the cash that's going to be received by council. I've talked of decongesting the city. That on its own, it's a benefit. And also having a smart city is a benefit to council. And also as a local authority, we are making sure that people are going green and the like. So the fewer the cars that are traveling, the emission of the gases also goes down. So it means that we are also environmental friendly as a city. So when you look at it, the benefits really are not only on the cash side. And also, you discover that there were some people who were even washing cars on the street. And this will be a thing of the past, because those detergents that they were using to wash cars on the street, when they mix with the tar and the paint, a lot of damage was happening on the road itself. And there are so many other things that I can mention. The list is just huge. You even think of your evacuation when a big building has caught fire. If there are cars all over, people won't have a place to run to. But if there are open spaces, people can be evacuated to a certain area. Then you try and count them. Are they all there? So the benefits really are more than to say council wants money.
And then the other concern was that if I'm an employee or I run a business in the city center, I have to park my car there if I'm working in a butchery or whatever, a retail store and whatever. I'm an employee there, and I own a car. I have to come to work in the morning with my car, and I park it outside where I know it's safe. So what happens to those people? People who run businesses, what happens to their staff and their cars? And is there a special arrangement that is going to be made, or they are also just have to pay like everyone else?
Okay. To begin with, most buildings have got some parking spaces that they have. Even at the back, some have got garages. Some of those garages, I've seen some of them have been turned to some shops. And then some have got parkades, some have got basements. So that's where they need to park. And also within the city, we've got the parkade, like the parkade center, your Bulawayo center there at the bottom there, people can rent spaces. You've got some other places that have been changed to some other uses rather than parking. Essentially, can you just imagine if we were to take the NRZ building and say all the businesses which are there, we need to give you a parking space? It would mean that the parking space that they would need out there is more than the parking space that's there. So their customers who are coming to their businesses would actually not have a place to park. So as we do this, some people might need to share a car when they come into town. Some you'd find a husband and a wife have been driving into the city. So now they might need to share a car, because we cannot provide parking for each and every person who comes into the city and wants to park for the full day. Park for a certain time, leave the parking for others to do business within that area. That's one of of the key issues that are there. Because now if you come and you're a customer, you now have to park in the peripherals, then walk to where you want to do business. While the parking is really for the customers, which is in front of you. Look at Pioneer House. It has got 11 floors. And each floor has got not less than 6 businesses. So if you multiply 6 by 11, that's 66 parking bays that they might need. So if you look at in front of them, we can't really provide for them. So the issue is people would have to look for alternatives. And also it could be a business venture for some to then also make their parking packets that will enable people to park the full day. But most of the parking areas now that were meant for full day, which are privately owned, are going empty because people are now parking on the street.
Are there any incentives for people out there to say, I know in this particular time we can give you half price? Those kind of. Are there any incentives in place?
If we try and implement those, they can be taken advantage of by the marshals. I remember the person who's collecting there on the street would have about 400 of them, and when the system is fully running. And can you just imagine if we are trying to implement an incentive, it might become very difficult. But I'm not saying that they will not be there in the future. They could be there. Probably at one time we would say, for this holiday the parking is free, or for this event. But for now, there are no incentives. One of the incentives that I spoke about earlier is that when we now have prepaid, you won't have to pay for the full hour. You have to pay for the time that you will have spent. That's the only benefit currently that I'm seeing that's coming in the near future. But one of the good things about this parking management thing, which can be an incentive that people are not seeing, is that as we do this system, we're also putting the roads in good shape. If you look at where we've put the system all over that place, we've had to renovate the roads. So it's an incentive, because now you would park where there is a dish, your shocks are going and the like. But as we roll out this the system, we're also repairing the roads. We're also putting new roads on some places. That would be an incentive, because it would reduce the repairs that you'll have to do on your car. But that's not an obvious one that you see. But over time, by managing our road network, it's an incentive for the motorists. Okay. And is the system 24 hours, or maybe there's a cut-off time to say maybe after this, someone comes into town at 8 p.m. can park for free, or the system will run for 24 hours? The system runs from 8 to 5 during the day, and from 8 up to about 1 o'clock to 1 on Saturday. So it means that Sundays are free. You can park, and those who stay in town can park their cars on the street overnight for free. Yes, we follow the business hours. After business hours, it's free for anyone to park anyway.
You mentioned residents. There are residential flats in town, and some of those residential places don't have their own parking. So residents have had to park on this. So what happens to them? Are they also going to be charged as like everyone else?
Yes, they'll be charged if they park during the day, but you'd expect them during the day to park at their workplaces. So when you look at it, we're not really charging them, because in the evening they can, when they come back home, they can then park for free. But during the day, if you have to park, then you have to pay.
Interesting. But then let's get to the final part of our discussion. You mentioned that at some point, I think you mentioned that maybe in the second year or third year of the implementation of the project, you're also going to put cameras on the streets. What would be the purpose of these cameras?
First, it is to enhance security for the vehicles that are on the street. And second, it will be to monitor the marshals that are on the street. Okay? Because when you put the cameras, then you can have somebody who is at the call center looking at everything that is going on in the streets. Even if there's somebody who was trying to rob the marshal, we are able to tell from the central point that this is what is happening at a given time. Even when somebody comes out to complain, you've got a reference point to say, at this time, what really happened. So all those will be the benefits of putting the cameras on the streets. What we want is that our motoring public should have a secure place to park, and that enhances the security.
But then still on the security part, there are also concerns from people to say, maybe these cameras will be used to spy on people, there will be demonstrations in town, they'll be able to identify you. Those are things that obviously people will raise. So in terms of access, who can have access to? Is it city council officials or other government departments can also have access to these cameras?
Okay. First of all, the cameras are on the base, right? They'll be focusing the base. So,
as in each bay will have its own camera, or there will be a camera for a certain number of bays?
There'll be a camera for a certain number of bays, but focusing on the bays themselves. So we don't anticipate to focus on people really that are demonstrating. And the arms of the state, of course, they will have access when there is need for them to have access to some footages. That's unavoidable. But for any citizen who's law abiding and everything, it shouldn't really be a challenge, unless if somebody wants to do criminal activities. But if you are not, it shouldn't be a challenge.
Well, if you're just joining us, we're having a discussion with Mr. Vusisizwe Sibanda, who's from the Bulawayo City Council, the project manager of the parking management system that council, in partnership with Tendi Tree, they've rolled out. So it means that if you enter the CBD and you are driving a car and you need to park your car, at some point you'll be made to pay for using that particular parking bay. So if you're visiting Bulawayo or you intend to visit Bulawayo, so make sure that you are aware of these new developments that are happening in our city. And as Mr. Sibanda had said, that the project will be rolled out over about 3 years until they've managed to set up everything. So join us again in the next edition of Fix My City. My name is Leslie Moyo.